Hey everybody, over the next couple of lessons we're going to learn how to predict the products of chemical reactions. In this lesson, which is part 1 of the two-part series, we're going to work a little bit more with classifying the types of chemical reactions that are occurring. So after this lesson, we should all be able to look at a chemical reaction and predict the type of reaction that is going to occur. With some practice, we may be able to just look at a reaction and classify the type of reaction that it is. However, others of us may want to use this key that can help us choose or identify the type of reaction. Starting on the far left in green, we can see the first question we'll ask ourselves is how many reactants are there? If there's simply one reactant, we see that we go up to here to this dead end or red for stop, and we can see that this is likely a decomposition reaction. Alternatively, if there's more than one reactant, we can take this bottom route and we ask ourselves the next question, which is, are the reactants oxygen and a hydrocarbon? If the answer to that is yes, we stop and we say that's likely a combustion reaction. If the answer was no, it's still green, we keep going on, and then we have three paths. The first path, looking at the top, we ask ourselves, is one of the reactants either a pure element or a diatomic, such as hydrogen gas, H2? Or, if we look at these, can we only break one of these compounds down into a cation and an anion? If that's the case, it's a single replacement reaction. The middle question here that we could ask ourselves is, are we able to identify a cation and anion in both of the reactant species? If the answer to that is yes, it's likely a double replacement reaction. Without experimental evidence, sometimes combination reactions can be difficult to predict. So our third question down here on the bottom, we are essentially asking ourselves, or we're looking and we're saying, the reactants don't seem to match either of those two choices above. And in which case, we're going to suspect that it's a combination reaction, and then we would go into the lab and actually test this out. So let's take a look at one of these examples. Looking at this top reaction here, that we're going to say is a combustion reaction, we answer that question by first saying how many reactants are there. We could see that there was more than one. Following this line along, we could see that the reactants were a hydrocarbon and oxygen, so therefore we classified it as a combustion reaction. In this second reaction, we can see, again, there was more than one reactant. The reactants were not oxygen and a hydrocarbon. However, if we look at the zinc metal, we can see that one of the reactants was a pure element. Therefore, we're going to conclude that it was a single replacement reaction. Now, why don't you pause the video and try to work through the next series of examples. Here are the answers for the remaining practice questions. Now it's your turn to practice classifying some chemical reactions. You'll want to go into Canvas and go to the Reaction Types worksheet. You'll see here you'll also have the products that will help you determine what type of reaction you've been looking at. In addition to classifying the reaction, please make sure that you also check to see if these reactions are balanced. If they are not balanced, go ahead and balance them. The answer key will be on the second page. Thanks everybody. Have a great day.